It's time.
Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime.
I have to tell this story.
What are you going to tell?
I get a call, I get an email yesterday from my assistant that says, "Oh, and she screenshot the email that you sent, and the email that you sent, and I can't repeat it verbatim, but it was, I love this show, and I really think that I want to be on this show."
Yes.
Well, at the same time, and this is how the universe works, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
At the same time that you wrote that,
Yes.
we had a cancellation. He had a personal issue, and so he rescheduled down the road a bit.
Okay.
And so you sent that email to my assistant, and she said, "Oh, we have an opening at 3:00 tomorrow, so we're going to invite her on to the show to fill that opening." And as it turns out, so then I go and I look at her website, and this is Dr. STEM I'm talking about. Look at her website, and I go to where the books are, and I start scrolling down and scrolling and scrolling, and I kept on scrolling, and I wasn't able to count how many books and audio books and stuff that she's written until I got in. So I had to ask her today, how many of those things have you written? And she said, I'm sorely disappointed in myself. And I said, how could that possibly be? And she said, because I just turned a certain number and I've only got 58 books, and it wasn't quite my age. And it's like, holy mackerel, that's crazy. But congratulations on the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And all of the books that you've written, and being a bounce back catalyst, which I'm not even sure. I would love for you to explain to our listeners, what the heck does it mean to be a bounce back catalyst?
Kevin, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me be here today. You have no idea. I'm very, very excited. And you're right. When the student is ready, right, the teacher arrives. I have been ready. I am ready. So I wasn't surprised when I was invited. I said, yes, I'm ready. So those are just opening up when you've worked, this hard and with intention. Doors opened. So I am at a place where I know my purpose. I love my purpose. I'm passionate about my purpose. Hence the bounce back catalyst. So let me tell you a little bit about bounce back. Bounce back started during COVID in 2020. I live in Orlando, Florida right now, and I was in this place by myself in this house. As a mental health therapist, I had an office that I was seeing people Monday through Friday. I was counseling people, coaching people. So my life was going well until COVID came and nobody could come to the office. I closed the office down and started working on the computer. People said, I don't know what to do with the computer. I can't see you. So guess who was in depression? The therapist herself. And I said, listen, I've got to find a way to let myself know that I will bounce back out of this. And everybody I talked to said, there's no way that we're going to survive because we don't know what is, happening with this pandemic. So everybody was scared and not looking forward to coming out of this storm, called pandemic. And one day bounce back came into my mind, and I thought, let me put together coaches and therapists from around the world and just do an online conference, a bounce back empowerment conference, so that we can help the people to keep hoping and knowing that they will bounce back, but they would have to have that mentality that I'm going to do it, I'm going to come out of it no matter what. I will come out of this. So I became the catalyst that helped people individually during the conference. I also have a membership called My Best Life. That one is for women only, all to help people to bounce back from life's transitions, because I realized that it wasn't just about the pandemic, it's about every life transition that we go through.
And there are a few life
Oh,
transitions that we
a
go
lot,
through,
a lot, a lot.
and it's how we deal with them. And I love the concept of bouncing back, because we always there's always something. I had a friend. He had his father was um, from Scandinavia, I think.
Okay.
And he said, it's always something. There's always something going on. And it's because it's true. There's always some reason why you should, why life gets you down and you feel like you can't. But bouncing back is how you grow and how you develop yourself. And the experiences that we have are very, very important for us to learn from. Has that been your experience?
That has been my experience. And what I love about the work that I do, which I'm sure you can relate, is we work with people. And part of what we do is to inspire people, encourage people, and empower people. We do that because we realize that there is no escaping life, there's no escaping problems, there's no escaping falling down, there's no escaping failure, rejection, divorces. You cannot, escape that. So as a result, I realize that whatever I go through, somebody else goes through and needs, encouragement through that.
And that's her. That's Rochelle. That's.
Hey, girl,
I said,
how you doing?
hi, Michelle, how you doing?
I'm good. We've had a very powerful day in the way of changing my perspective on things already. So
Oh,
I am very excited to end the show with you because I couldn't imagine the message you have to share. And everything you just said before I came in was beautifully said.
oh, thank you. And thank you for helping me to, make it here today as well. I
Of
appreciate you.
course.
Thank you.
And by the way, Rochelle, she's a brand new author.
Yep.
She's only written 58 books.
Yep. She
You're
doesn't
not,
have that many. It's not like she has time.
you are not going to stop this, are you?
I know. I have never. I got to tell you, Dr. Stem, I've never. Oh, by the way, and if you look at, I would love. Rochelle's the staff linguist, by the way. So I would love to her be challenged to pronounce your last name so that everybody knows it, because I haven't got a shot.
Let's go, Michelle.
Oh, Kevin, you are so great for this. Okay, I'm gonna just I'm
You can
gonna pull it
believe
up
it.
here. Let's see. Okay, last name Sublime or Sublime, and I can't see the rest of your last name, so I'm not even gonna try that. But if you say it once, I promise I'll get it.
So there was a trick to it, and don't ask me how and why. I'm originally from Zimbabwe. Stembile is my full name, Sithembile. The I and the H are silent, so it's
Okay,
pronounced Stembile. Stembile.
Stembile. Okay,
There you go.
I
And the
can do
last
that.
name, the last name is easy. If you've heard of the drink martini, it's Malatini.
Malatini.
There you
Okay.
go.
Now, is that gin or vodka?
Whichever one is the most expensive one, Kevin. I don't know.
Oh, very good, very good. So it's a vodka martini, and
So,
that's
so
who we have. Yeah,
I
that's
ma-
your.
yeah, I made it easy martini because I've been in the United States for 40 years, and for the 40 years I've been here, I'm asked to pronounce my name. The correct pronunciation before all the Zimbabweans and my family get on me is Matlatini. Matlatini. That's the correct.
Maclatini.
There you go. Perfect. That's it.
Apparently, my mouth just doesn't work that way.
I think
So
I need to go there. I would have so much fun learning that language.
yeah, you really would. And by the way, we're talking with we're going to say Dr. Stem, and she does the excuse me, it's the president calling. Um, so, but I'm not. I can't take that right now, so he'll have to go back in the tanning booth. Anyway, Dr. Stem, Bounce Back Catalyst, is who she is, and it's just remarkable the work that you do, and thank you for that. And so and Rochelle, did I tell you? You know the story of how she ended up here, right?
On Positive Talk or doing the work?
On
On
Positive Talk.
positive talk.
Yes. I went through all the chains of emails. There's like 30 of them, this huge conversation. And then I saw yesterday that you got added into the show, and it's amazing. And it leads me to the question of, you found a way to be interactive with us. We've made it work and you're here now. So what got you into doing the work that you do?
It's interesting that you asked that question, which is a great question. And I was telling, Kevin, before we started, that when the student is ready, the teacher arrived. I wasn't surprised that among all of those, and there was a cancellation, and I came to to be here, and today. I actually came to the United States to do computer science. When my parents sent me here 40 years ago, they said, go to America, do computer science, come make money for us, take care of yourself, but take care of us, really. But when I was in school, and I was in Lowell, Massachusetts, when I was in school, I was also working as a nursing assistant. And when I was working as a nursing assistant, I was helping one patient who was being, enrolled in the nursing home. And she said to me, what are you doing, in America in school? And I said, well, I'm doing computer science. But with the work that I had done to help her, transition into the nursing home, stay in the nursing home, reach out to the family, coordinate everything, she says, nah, you're a social worker. Why don't you look into social work? And I say to her, ma'am, I don't want to be a social worker. I'm coming from Zimbabwe, where social workers knock on doors and they say, reduce the number of children that you're having, because you can't have that many children, and give them, protection and everything. I said, that's not what I want to do. She's like, no, honey, there is more to social work. You can actually be a therapist and help people, with therapy, with mental health, or even coordinating, their lives and everything. So I looked into that and ended up being a social worker. And once I finished, social work, I decided, what, I also wanted to work with corporations and do mental health, consulting, with employee assistance in the corporations. Hence the doctorate degree that I did in organizational leadership.
Holy mackerel! You're an educated lady, and you also
Yeah.
have written 58 books. I'm sorry, I just can't get around that. That's just.
So Kevin, let me tell you about those books. So what happened was, I'm also a motivational speaker. So I went through the National Speakers Association, learned about speaking. So I'm a motivational speaker as well. The reason why I went into writing books, into speaking, doing workshops, and going into the organization corporations is because I wanted to normalize mental health. And in order for me to normalize mental health, people always say, when they heard that I was a mental health, or I talked about mental health, everybody's like, well, I'm not crazy. I'm not depressed. I don't want to have to do that. So I decided, if I write books, inspirational books, motivational books, if I go out and speak to people and talk about life in general, the transitions that we go through life, the difficulties that we go through life, the depression that all of us, experience, and anxiety, and they see me, and they also realize that I also experience the same, experiences, the same depression and anxieties, and the treatments that I also go through, then they will be okay with doing that. And I'm telling you, it's been wonders with people when they read that book and say, oh, I read, it's time to shift. You are right, because I've been getting in my own way. It's time to shift from fear to faith. Well, I can do this now here. That's exactly my intention with each and every one of those books, that somebody, one life can be changed, and when one life is changed, they tell the next person, and the next person is changed as well. So 58 is nothing. And by the way, I just turned 60, because he was a gentleman about it, and say a certain age is 6 years old.
I can't believe that, number one, that you're 60. Number two, that you've written 58 books and you're disappointed because you haven't written 60, which is just slightly more than crazy, by the way. And but I tell you that, and I love talking to, and so does Rochelle. We love talking to people
Yeah.
who are so passionate
Yes.
about what they do, and that you have continued. Rochelle, it's really instructive for us, because it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to do this. Oh, but I want to add that. Okay, I'll go study that. And then I want to go do this. And then I'll study that. And it's like that is how we all should be
Yes.
formulating our lives to live our best self, to
Yeah.
become who we really are.
Yeah.
And congratulations on the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I
Thank you.
know we need to take a quick break, our first one. When we come back, I want to talk about what it was like for you when you went through this, when you went through this process and learned it so that you were able to even think about putting it in a book and start speaking upon these things.
Okay.
Can we do that, Kevin?
You're the boss. We can do anything you want. I'm just here, just pushing buttons. So we'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
You became a real estate agent for freedom, success, and real momentum. So why are you still stuck waiting for closings to save you? I'm Ophir Adar, founder of Real Momentum, and I help agents like you become seven-figure earners. My first client that I coached, brand new agent, made $250,000 back in 2006. What's the secret? You feed your white wolf. That's the part of you that's bold and unstoppable and a closer and able to build rapport quickly. So click Get Listings at Real Momentum and let's unleash your real estate potential.
Ah, there's no music. That's
Is there no
okay.
music?
No.
Not at all. Huh? Oh well. But Doctor Step is with us, and I want to tell you,
Yeah.
you have got such an energetic spirit and a great smile. It's remarkable, and I want to thank you for being here. Could you really not hear the music?
No.
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 I mean, I was getting ready
I
for
mean,
it, so
we dance
yeah, we can
anyway.
move. We got the
I mean,
groove.
you
The
know.
boogie never leaves you.
Well, what I could do is restart my computer and come back and let you two chat for a bit. Should I do that?
If you'd like to, we can move on and talk about this, but make sure that you're listening somehow still.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I'll stay.
Okay.
This is
It's
we,
not that
because
we,
important.
because we have the music in us. We do.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Well, but coming from Zimbabwe, you have all your own. They're very musical people, aren't they?
yes, yes, yes. Very, very musical. Very musical.
Music is in
Um,
your body.
it's in our body, it's in our spirit, it's in our soul, and I think that even gets us to start answering that question that you had, Michelle, of how has it been for me, and how I have prepared myself to now be the catalyst that help other people bounce back when life happens, right?
Right.
Because life is going to happen to all of us. So I came in, it was my first time coming overseas and being in this country, and I realized that even leaving home, I'm the firstborn of seven, children, five girls and two boys. I knew that I had to make it no matter what, because it was instilled in me that you are the firstborn, so you better make sure that you do well, because the others are looking at you. If you mess up, then they are all going to mess up. And I believe that. Whereas now, today, you tell a firstborn today, and they'll be like, no, that's got nothing to do with me. If they mess up, that's on them. That's not
Yep.
me. I came from a generation where it was all on me, until I think I was 40 years old on my 40th birthday. One of my sisters said, wait a minute, wait. Would you live your own life because we are living our own lives and we are doing our own thing. We never consult you, but it's almost like you want to consult to make sure that it's okay with everybody. No, do you. You know, so that was a gift. And her name is Sid. That was a gift that she gave me to free myself. So that also drove me to understand that mindset is a big thing in life, having a mindset that is ready for life when it's, it happens. And we can never be ready to, to deal with everything that happens, but it's easier, if I may say it that way, when you have a bounce back mindset that, you know what, life is going to happen, but no matter what, I'm not going to let life, keep me down. I'm going to fall. And when I fall, I don't know whether I'm going to fall on concrete, on, wooden tiles, or just in the sand. But what I know is I have to be prepared to bounce back. So my life itself in this country has been that I have fallen. I have been betrayed. I have, failed in my life. I haven't always been successful, but with those failures and all those falls that I've had, I have been learning. And as I learned, I put it in a book to say, hey, this happened. And people will read it and say, that happened to you? I said, yep, it happened to me. You mean you were homeless? Yes, I was homeless. What? How does that happen? It's life. It's part of life. So with that, it normalizes where you build, a mentality that I'll bounce back. And when you do that now, you have to also go into building self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, resiliency. And then, there are three B's that when you hear me say my bounce back philosophy, that's the first one, bounce back mentality, build that. And then you build your confidence, resiliency, and yes, I can mentality. And then the last B is what this radio station stands for. You become the best version of yourself. And when you are the best version of yourself, you are unstoppable.
Very true.
You know, it is so interesting because Michelle's been with me about a year and a half, and she's made a a real change in who she thought she was versus who she's striving to be now. And she still is amazed every day about some of the positive things that are going on with her. And even though
Yeah.
we all have challenges, but
Yes.
from my perspective, Dr. Stem, I
Yes.
consider it a grand adventure. And so even the bad thing, even when something less than optimal happens, as an example, 8 weeks ago now, I fell and broke my wrist.
Oh,
And I had to go have it. It's all better now, except
okay.
it looks like now
Yeah,
I
you can
was
tell the yeah.
suicidal. But and slit my wrist. But I had to have surgery and stuff. But rather than saying, "Woe is me," oh, what a crappy day, what an awful thing for me, I went in. I heard it on Saturday. I went in on Monday, and then I had set the appointment for Wednesday to go have it looked at and perhaps set and all that. And they said I needed surgery, and I said, "Well, how long is that going to take? Because I got shows to do. I've got, and I had a bunch of shows, and they said, well, how about tomorrow at 1 o'clock?"
Oh,
And I said, that never happens.
I
It's
know, right?
so I considered it a blessing that
Yes.
I was going to go into. So it was from injury to
Mm.
surgery, and getting it fixed was 5 days.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
And
And
it's
I
all
truly
because,
believe it was the way you handled it, right?
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
the universe conspired with me to make it work for me. And
Yes.
because they knew I was on a mission and I had things I had to do, which
Yes.
I wanted to do, and I canceled too many shows, which was really irritating.
Yeah.
Because there were some great people that I had to cancel and stuff, but all of it worked out just perfectly, and that's the way my life rolls these days. It's just
And you know what? Thank you for sharing that. Guess what, Kevin? I worked in the hospital as well, in the heart and lung transplant as a transplant social worker at Tampa General Hospital here in Florida. And one of the things that I saw that people that came through the transplant, there was a difference between those that say, listen, I'm here for the doctors to help me get a new heart new lungs, but I have plans. They had plans, and I asked, "What plans do you have?" Well, I've got a business that I'm running, but my daughter is graduating, or my daughter is getting married, and we are celebrating our anniversary, and they had those things to look forward to. So guess what? They came out. Those that came in and said, "I can't believe this is happening to me right now. I'm so angry and I'm so mad and I can't believe this here." And we tried and tried to try. Unfortunately, I'm not saying it happens to everyone, but there is a correlation between having that forward thinking and expectation that helps people come out of the surgeries, come out of the illnesses, go over the get over the divorce, not forgetting it, but remarrying, for those that remarry again, after some very difficult marriages. That makes a big difference.
When it all comes back to exactly what you said,
Yeah.
mindset.
Mindset. You're right.
Yeah.
If you have a positive mindset, and by the way, I don't know if you know this, but I have this radio show. It's called Positive Talk Radio. But if you have a positive mindset, I firmly believe
Yes.
that you can accomplish anything. And I learned that years ago when I was driving a bus, and one of the old school bus drivers, because sometimes you get into trouble, and I got this note to see a supervisor.
Yes.
And it was like, "Please see me," and stuff. And I went to the union guy who'd been there forever, and I said, "What am I going to do? What am I going to do?" And he said, "Well, just go talk to him, because I can tell you this: you can't do anything." And this is a lesson in life for me. You can't do anything that hasn't been done before.
That's very true. Very
And
true.
so if you take it from other people's example of how they handled it, and then you decide how to handle it differently, it works out differently for you. I really honestly believe that, and
Yes.
I know that to be true.
Yes. And
Well,
that's
in that
why.
system, you have to say that it's a choice, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
It is. It is. It is. We do, because then here's one thing that we forget: when life happens to us and we have these painful moments in our lives, the first thing that we do is, why me? Why is this
Hmm.
happening to me? And like Kevin said, it's not just you, it's just your season and it's your time. And many a time, if you learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn in that season, then most likely, and most definitely, let me say it, you will see positive things happening. There will be rainy days, there will be snowy days, but there are also sunny days that are to be seen. So I lived my life the same way, that okay, I'm in the darkness, but the sun will rise again. That good times will come again, but I have to endure and learn the lesson that I have to learn whilst I'm in this valley, in this moment that I'm here right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even when I went through my bad country music song period, you know what that is, by the way?
No. What is that?
Okay, a bad country music song period is and it used to be that a country music song, it would be like, "Yeah, my dad died, and then my dog died, and then I lost my house, and my wife left," and
Oh,
it was all about sad and all that
sad.
kind of stuff. Well, all those things happen, but you know what? That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. Everybody's happier now, and especially that woman. Never mind. But everybody's happier now, so it worked out for me. For me, it worked out really well. And then, Rochelle can attest this, because I generally look at things from a real positive nature. Don't. How many times have you seen me upset besides that one time?
You
She's
had a little
thinking.
bit of an attitude yesterday, but
I did,
uh,
didn't I?
you did. You did. But it wasn't. It never comes out. And you know what? It comes down to, we have those days, we have those moments. We are human. You can't, you get to choose, yes, how easy and how hard things are, all of the above. But also, you cannot pretend that something is not what it is.
Yes.
And we have Gigi Marie, or G Marie, saying powerful conversations right here. Thank you for joining us in and listening to you, or listening with us. And you're literally the perfect person to be doing the work that you're doing, because you've been through it, you've learned through it,
Yes.
and you're able to share that, but not push that onto other people. Hey, I know what's best, and I know what you should do, and um, One thing I want to touch base on too is what it was like, especially for you as the oldest of the siblings, and then for them to come all the way back around and say, "Hey, sister, we love you and we see how much you've done for us.
Yes.
Give that back to yourself." What was that like were you proud of yourself in the moment that they were able to come to you and tell you that because you probably allowed the teaching of them?
Um, to be honest with you, I was at first offended. Like, what do you mean? like,
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? I'm the firstborn, and I'm expected to make sure that everything works out so that your lives work out. And then, and then I got to talk to her more, and she says, "No, I think there's a period." She's also a social worker, by the way. So
Oh,
she
very
says
nice.
there's a place and a time where you have to take care of yourself and realize that the same life that you're giving out, you deserve the same love as well. You deserve the same time and also empathy. And I said, "Oh, you're right." She's like, "Because you're always checking in with everybody. And if we say no, then what you gonna do? Just stop leaving?" I said, "No, I'm not." So, but yeah, but that's many people that are, especially in the caregiving, business, where your
Yep.
nurses, doctors, social workers, therapists, coaches, many of us in that profession, right? We need those gentle reminders to come back around and turn the light around so that we are taking care of ourselves rather than just give, give, give.
Very
And we
good.
need to take our halftime break. And when we come back, I want to ask Dr. Stem, if you're not, you've been taught your whole life to give, 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 and you take the last place. How do you make that fundamental shift into taking care of yourself before you can take care of anybody else? Rochelle's here. She's right there. That's her. And we'll be right back after this message. And if she's dancing and there's no music, please understand, everybody. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na.
Can you hear some music?
No,
Oh,
I made
well,
it.
and I gotta tell you, that is a microcosm of what life is like and what it's all about.
Yes.
I have a system and I have a computer set up, and it was working perfectly earlier today. And because I'm a bit of a perfectionist,
Ooh.
not that I'm
You're gonna
showing,
admit
but
that? Wow.
I know, right?
and it's but it's like, oh, okay, we don't have music, okay, but Purcell's still gonna dance. That's a positivity that we all need to live with, I think.
Thank you.
and
I'll
and so
create the music.
yeah, you create the music, and Dr. Stem will create the music, and it is. I gotta ask you, because
Okay.
you've listened to a couple of our shows. What do you like about them, so that we can create a little mini commercial about what you think about them?
I love them because of their positivity. One, they're very realistic and conversational. So anyone will find themselves in one or more of the guest stories that are being shared. And also, you will also find something that will help you change yourself, your life to becoming something different, or even, a better version of yourself or of you, per se. So I liked all of that. As I was listening, I had my pen and paper, which I encourage everybody to do. You listen to Positive Talk Radio, have a pen and paper and write down some points, some things. It's very relaxed, but at the same time, as the listener said, very powerful conversations that happen here. So that's what I loved about them. And just love
Rochelle, she gets it. She really,
Yeah.
really gets it.
And
We're
that's why she's
doing.
gonna have to come back.
She is. Yes, she is, because we've got, I don't know, what, 58 books to talk about or some sort of thing.
Yeah, some
it.
crazy thing. It'll be 60 in 2 months. It's fine.
It's just something else.
Well, you got to understand, Doctor, I've been doing this for 20 years, and that is really rare. Yeah, as a matter of fact, you're the first one. But the cool thing is that
Yes.
each of those books has got a reason and a purpose behind them. And even if you start at 1 and go to 58, by that time it'll be 65. That's what you're working towards, and congratulations.
Thank you. I will be back at 65 with 65 plus books. So here's the other thing about those books, right, Kevin? Let me just say this real quick. I also wrote books for teenagers. In those books, I wrote books for a teenager's guide, and a teenage boy's guide, and a teenage girl's guide, and also a parent guide, because I have worked in schools where I've been providing counseling in schools for high schoolers in the schools. And that's when I realized that I listened to my parents and I couldn't question anything they say. And then here comes these kids are like, that's not my responsibility. I didn't have those children. I'm not doing that. And I was like, how do you get to do that? They're like, because it's not mine. They have the children. They need to take care of their children. I'm like, but you know what? It's a fact. That's the truth.
That's
So
the way it's supposed to be.
that's the way it's supposed to be, but there has to be a gentle way to
Yeah.
express that and explain that to a parent, so that they can understand the perspective of a teenager's mindset. And there's also a way to explain to a teenager exactly what their parents are saying, so then they would come, and then I sit them with them in counseling, and I'm like, let me just tell you where your parents are coming from. This is the generation where I come from. This is how we understand it. They're like, so why the hell wouldn't they just tell me like that? Why does it? So,
Yeah.
why are they not saying it like that? I said, there's a saying in my language in Shona, which is a Zimbabwean, that it's easier for somebody who's not your real parent to tell you what is being said by your parents and explain it in another way, because the emotions that are attached to that are different. So I'm laid back, I'm chilled. I don't have to live with your butt at home. You acting out and talking the way that. So of course I can be nice to you, because I get to go to my home and not deal with you. But they got to deal with you every day, and everything that they are trying, you're pushing back, and that's not a good feeling at all. So that's the reason why I also wrote those books that way. If I cannot reach other parents and children, around the world, at least they can grab that book and see where my concept comes from. So many of them have got questions that can be interactive, so that the parents and the children can have a conversation, that they literally can listen and understand each other. Because I think both, the children and the parents have got some valid reasons and points of what it is that they want in the relationship.
I remember when I was 15, 16, and I thought knew all that and was all tough and a bag of chips, and I really felt like what the heck do they know? Well, then when I became a parent, and my 15, 16-year-old kid said, what the heck does he know? So it's a generational thing, but it's also, we've got to communicate better, with our kids, because, and right now, in this society, right now, it is vital, because so many kids, and Rochelle can tell you, there are so many kids that are lost, and the society has changed so much. Do you agree with that, Rochelle?
100%. I think in very good and not so good ways. The kids are very, we're allowing kids to use their opinions now and be more creative and express themselves and be who they are, which I love. But just like everything, there is a boundary and there's a healthy space to keep yourself with everything. What do they say? You can't have too much or too little of something.
Yeah.
You got to have balance with
Balance,
all things.
balance, balance.
Because anything can become
Yes.
an addiction or a trigger or something negative. But the problem is we have parents on one end and we have parents on the other end.
Yeah.
And then there's all of the rest of us who are, and under the age of 30 and over the age of 12 that are like, okay, so we're being shown what exactly not to do and what not to be like, but we're also being shown that you can be absolutely whoever you want. And I think that's kind of a dangerous battle for kids to try to
Mm,
accept. I mean, my only worry when I was that age of these girls, they're worried about the boys and the makeup and what they're going to wear to the mall and what he said and why she didn't respond. I was just trying to get a Hannah Montana wig and I wanted the perfect blue eyeshadow to put all over my face. You know what I mean? And the kids don't go through that phase anymore. I
yeah.
used to look ridiculous. My mom called me Donald in our home, Donald Trump, before I knew who he was. Why? Because I decided I'm going to part my hair from one side to the other and don't tell me what makeup is. And is a perfect example I could share with you that is just
Yeah.
so sad for me as a female, but I'm not a big makeup person.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up learning how to use makeup, but I loved it, right? So
Yeah.
every time Rochelle did her makeup, it's like, oh, yeah, who let you do this to yourself? Where are your parents? Like, what's going on, you know? And then my mom was just like, go get that off your face. And my dad was like, oh, you're cute. So there wasn't, it was just so confusing. And
Yes.
especially as an only
Yes.
child,
Yeah.
growing up, whether you have siblings or whether they're away from you or whatever it is, there's so many things that make us so different. And I try to just focus on only the positive because when
Yes.
you focus on negative, you create it.
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to do. If we could bring back Hannah Montana and go through the blue eyeshadow phase, I'm all for it.
I want you on my podcast. I want you on my
Okay.
podcast. I'm going to invite you on my podcast, Bouncing Back Podcast, because that was brilliantly said. Brilliant. Brilliant.
And
It's
Dr.
so
Stem,
true.
yeah, let's talk about your podcast, and because I know
Yeah.
you're dedicated to it and you're doing it a lot. Where can people find it?
It is on YouTube. Just like where we find Positive Talk Radio, it's Bouncing Back Podcast with Dr. Stem. And Dr. Stem is one word, DRSTEM, Bouncing Back Podcast with Dr. Stem. So, I would love, they're going to see it because what she said is what every child wants to say to their parents, and is also what every parent is willing and open to understanding where are we going wrong, what the hell is going wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk
Well,
about
and
that.
when you get older, you can finally talk about those things. I
Yes.
don't understand why our parents don't get at our level when we're younger and just have a conversation, you know?
Yeah, Kevin, you wanted to know about my self-care before we went on break. Can I just say that, or are we going on break again? I don't know.
No, of
Well,
course.
we are, and yes, you can.
Oh, okay. You asked about self-care, how I take care of myself, and why that's important. As
Yes.
as I mentioned, right, because I am a person who's working with people to serve people, whether I'm coaching, I'm doing the empowerment conference, or I am doing mental health counseling, or writing the 58 books, I cannot serve from an empty vessel. If I don't go through taking care of myself and also replenishing myself, relaxing. I just came back from Ghana. So relaxing, traveling, and doing the things that brings that smile, most of the time, because I'm not always smiling. There are times when I'm sad, there are times when I'm mad, there are times when I'm not smiling, but 99.9% of the time I'm smiling because I've taken care of myself. So it's very important to take care of oneself, and I practice what I preach. There's nothing that you see in those books. There's no information that I'll share with my audience or anybody that I work with that I haven't gone through, or that I haven't experienced, or that I haven't shared with someone that has a different life experience than me, and they came back and said, you know what, I actually went through this, and this is what worked for me, and I learn from that as well from other people.
Well, that means that you have to have, your life has to be an open book, doesn't it?
Well, in 58 books, I mean,
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's like every experience that you had for a year goes in one of the books.
I just put it in there. But I'm very tactical about it. I'm not going to be, putting details where people start to disrespect me and disrespect my life. I'm putting it in a way where those that are open, as I mentioned when I came on the radio, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. When you are prepared and you've prepared yourself, you pick the right book with the right information that as soon as you open it, there's going to be information there. So they are now becoming more books now, because 3 years ago, as I was doing the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference, many people kept asking how I write books. And I realized that, you know what, this is a great opportunity for all the speakers and anybody who's ever wanted to write a book to do an anthology with me. So we started Bounce Back, anthologies. Book 1, 2. This year, we just released a couple weeks ago, Bounce Back Book 3. I have 25 authors that I make a selection every year, and they get to tell their stories. And it's heartwarming. I'm honored that each one of them have entrusted me to publish their stories, but to inspire, encourage, and empower somebody else. So there are going to be more books, I know that, but now it's not just me. I write a chapter, and I give an opportunity to other people to also write their chapters. And if somebody writes with me for 4, 5, 10 chapters, I am going to freely, for those authors, publish their 10 chapters together, so they have their own book with those 10 anthologies that they will have written.
That's really cool. And you write books, and around here we make videos, don't we, Rochelle?
We do. We're getting very comfortable doing that.
And I've got a brand new one that Dr. Stem, I would love your input and about this one. And it's virtually a world premiere. You're one of the few, the proud, the brave. No, that's a Marine. But I want to.
The strength of staying kind from your friends at Positive Talk Radio. Kindness is not weakness. It takes real strength to stay kind in a world that often rewards anger, ego, and control. Being kind means choosing to act from your values, not your wounds. It means showing grace even when no one's watching. But kindness doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting people take advantage of your time, your energy, or your peace. You can be kind and still say no. You have a soft heart with firm boundaries. The strongest people I know are the ones who choose compassion without losing themselves. They've been hurt. They've been tested. And still, they choose to love and lead and to lift others anyway. Kindness is not about pleasing everybody. It's about honoring who you are and how you treat others, even when it's hard. So stay kind, stay human, and stay strong. And always remember this, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.
And welcome back to the show, everybody. I ran out of music, so we didn't play it. So there. But Doctor, what do you think?
Wow. I'm telling you, I had my pen. Kindness is strength. Kindness is a gift to self and others. Kindness is love. It's brilliant. Brilliant. And what a way to unite the world. You know what it reminded me of? That song that they sang with Michael Jackson and all the singers. We are the world.
Yeah.
We are, this is it, kindness. So you better make sure that they sing about it too, that kindness is love. I love it. Love it.
Dr. Stem, I got to tell you that and this is information that is brand new. But we are in conjunction with the Brushwood Media Network. Rochelle and I, or me, or Rochelle, and
me.
And when she's around, and we'll do this. We're gonna start doing a radio show.
on kindness.
Well,
For
one of
music.
the
Oh, for
it's going to be music, and it's going to be a positive message. And one of the songs that I've requested is "We Are the World," that Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson did, with along with 20 or 30 other rock musicians. And so that's going to be a staple of the show that we do, because I have been dying to do a show that I could present the type of music that has meaning
yes.
for us as a planet, and for the individuals that are all in it. So we're going to be starting to do that. I don't have an exact date yet, but we're really looking forward to doing it. It's going to be great fun.
But this is
And G
confirmation.
agrees.
Yeah, I know,
Yes.
right? This is confirmation. You know how when you are putting together something and then at random, here comes this stranger that wasn't even scheduled or meant to come, and then I mentioned that, it's confirmation that it's a brilliant idea. It's going to be a great show that you guys put on, but please make sure that you also put my bounce back theme song, because it says bounce back. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, yes, yes. So I hope that you play that as well once you start this show.
Who
Definitely.
did you write it, or who
I,
wrote it?
I wrote it and I sang it.
And did you license it?
What? How do you license it?
Never mind. We'll talk about that
I,
later.
I was gonna say,
She said, I own it. I made it.
but yeah, yeah, yes, I we can talk about that. It's that's the theme song that you hear at the conference and everything that we play. I produced that in 2021.
Oh,
The song.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
What we have found, and Rochelle knows this intimately, is music is is a universal
you.
language,
Yes, it is.
and it has universal language of feeling.
Yes, 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 it is. Yes, it is. I happen to love music as well. One of the ways that I also encourage, inspire, and empower people, I play radio, I play gospel music, and it's also on YouTube. It's called Let's Praise Him with Dr. Stem, where I play gospel music just to, again, inspire, empower, and encourage others. So, music is life.
It is. And it's a great
Where
way
did
to
you?
connect.
Yeah,
Sorry, what did you say? I didn't hear.
Dr. Stem, I was just going to say, where the hell did you come from, and how did you get to be so smart?
It goes back to what you said at the beginning. Once you find your purpose and your passion, ideas come, energy comes, and just the excitement, excuse me, comes, and you do more things than you can ever even dream of. And people are like, where do you get to time, and how do you get to do this? And I said, it's just so exciting. But I knew that once I turn 60 or 65, I just want to show people what's possible, and that there's no excuse when you make up your mind. There's no excuse for a made up mind, and nobody can come and destroy a mind that is made up. It's not what happens to you that matters, it's how you handle what is said to you and what is done to you.
And so some of us have gone through really, really, really horrific times,
Yeah.
and I would hope that they get the help that they need, but then at the end of the day, to rise above it, because what's in the past, I don't know if you know this, but Rochelle told me that you can't change the past. I'm still having trouble with that. Rochelle, explain that to me.
It's not, the past shouldn't be something you want to change. The way that I've learned that I maybe handled or learned something incorrectly or can do better from it is when I thought, well, I want to change that. Because, like you said, your story is who you are. That is what is important. And that's what I want to ask you here in a moment about, how important it is to share your story and how that changed you. But especially for me, being in the world I am now and in the age I am, I realized that, like you said, Dr. Stem, it always comes back to you. I can look outward at everything else and I can decipher whatever I want, but really ultimately it is up to me to decide how I view this, how I view that person and why. And I think a lot of what was so vibrant for me, and what kind of hurt a little bit was I realized half of the things, the way I was looking at everything outside of me, was because that's how I felt about myself.
Yes.
That's how I saw that situation. It necessarily that wasn't right and it wasn't wrong, it wasn't true and it wasn't false. There is nothing right, wrong, true, false. It's all our perspective, but there's still things I relearn. Um, and I don't think we should be stuck in the past. You want to be in the present and you want to focus on the future. But talking about this subject so much for the past week and everything I've heard you say, I would fight against everything to say that the most powerful thing you can do with your past is to share it, because that's how you grow through it. If you can look back and be like, "Ooh, that was an ugly Burchelle. She wasn't so great. I wouldn't like her," to now be like, hey, this Burchelle's a lot better, and she's working and she's growing. And there's just so many things I could say about this subject, but you're living it and you're doing it. And I just want your perspective on how important it really is to share your story and your life with people and how
And
that's helped you. Because it
I
matters. You show kindness to yourself, right?
You're right. I agree with G. G Marie just said perspective is everything. And yeah, and I agree with you as well, Brichelle, because here's the thing. Even having the opportunity to share your story, it's a gift that we need to embrace, because not everyone will live to tell their story. Not everyone will have the opportunity to tell their story. So I always say to myself and other people, listen, there is somebody or someone or some people that are waiting to hear your story so that they can move forward with their life. So when we hold back our own stories and we hold back our own experiences, there are millions and hundreds and thousands of other people that could have benefited from your story, your experience, that are just waiting to hear that story. And my story and my life change could be coming from Brichelle's experience. You never know that. But we are all, a beneficiary of somebody else's experience and somebody else's story. And hence, that's the reason why my story is shared in one of my books. It's called Thriving Beyond the Tears. That's the blue book that I have
Mm.
this, sharp hairdo and everything. But it says, it talks about we're all going to shed tears, and tears, of sadness, but also tears of happiness based on the experiences that we have in life. But as we
Yeah.
tell the stories and read other people's stories, it also strengthens us, and it gives us also the thumbs up that I can also share my story and also be a blessing to somebody else, or also the game changer for the next person.
It
Perfectly
is
said.
so, yes, it was. It is so therapeutic
Yes.
when somebody hears, you mean, I'm not the only one?
That's
This has happened to somebody else
yes.
and they're making a joke about it? How could that possibly be?
Yes.
I've lived that through this entire last year of my life being on this podcast.
Because I will, I'll pop off with things that can be considered, like bad, but it's like I've got certain things that I will stand by till the day I die, and that is number one is, do you know who Paul McCartney is?
Yes.
The gospel according to Paul McCartney is "Let It Be."
Mm. One of my favorite songs. Yes. Let it.
And I'm told Michelle this. You know how that song happened?
No.
Paul McCartney was lying in bed. The Beatles were having troubles. There were breakups in the wind. There was financial problems in the wind, and they didn't know. He didn't know what was happening, and he was upset about the whole thing. His mother passed away. Her name is Mary, or was Mary. She passed away when he was 14. And so here he is as a 28, 29-year-old man. He's lying in bed, and his mother comes to him in a dream and says, Paul, let it be. And he took that, saying that his mother left him in a dream because she'd been gone for about 15 years
Wow.
and said, "Oh, let it be."
Let it be.
And that became the song that he wrote. And that song has inspired millions as far as
Mm.
I'm concerned.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, yes.
Rochelle has it on her mirror.
Oh, it's everywhere. It's in my friend's house. It's on people's cars. It's everywhere you look because it seems like it's so simple, but to really just grab all of you and be still is
Yes.
so powerful. And you learned to do that at the same time you were able to fill your cup so that you were available to help other people. I hope you continue to do that nonstop. And someday, I want to be able to hug you in person and feel your energy and just promise me that you will come back and have another show with us because there's still so much that our audience can learn from you.
There is so much. Thank you, guys. I really have enjoyed it, and it just gives me goosebumps hearing the story about Let It Be because there are moments, there are times that you can bounce back and get up and do something about your life, but there are also moments where you just have to be still and let it be. So, thank you again for that.
And by the way, if somebody wants to get in contact with you or listen to the podcast, they can go to YouTube to listen to the podcast, but it's called again.
Yes, but mostly I also want to encourage people this year, the sixth annual Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. We are in Cheshire, United Kingdom on September 6th, and all the information is on my website, www.drstemi.com. For those women, this one is a My Best Tribe for Women. For those women that are struggling and wanting a tribe that they can be together to bounce back from life's transitions, that information is also on www.drstemi.com. And lastly, this bounce back attire is on bouncebackboutique.shop. Thank you guys so much. I enjoyed being
Thank
here.
you, Dr. Stem.
And I want to thank you because community is everything. Find people who you like and that you can grow together, and that's really, really important. Rochelle, we've had a great day, haven't we?
We have, and I'm so blessed to be able to end it with you because now I got a lot to keep bouncing on towards that I'm coming back from. And
Exactly.
I can't wait to have you back again. And thank you everybody who stayed in and listened to this full hour with us. It has been so extraordinary. So come back tomorrow for great stuff. And thank you for ending our day with us, Dr. Stem.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.